Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo, and today we're going to be talking about the Media Create charts for Japan. This includes all the sales for hardware and software and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be focusing mostly on Nintendo, but we'll reference some other companies as well. But I'm going to be doing this every week from now on. So every Wednesday you can expect a video of me covering the Media Create charts. But let's get right on into it. So first off, we're going to start with hardware sales, where the Switch is doing really well this week in Japan, selling 73,231 units. That is about 30,000 units up from last week's 43,426 units. This is also about over 50,000 units more than the PS4, which has at 22,822, up about 4,000 from 18,000 the last week. The Nintendo 3DS LL, as it's called in Japan, it's the XL here in America, sold 9,915, up about 1,000 from last week. The new 2DS XL sold 8,359, which is actually down about 200 from last week. The PS4 Pro sold about 6,500. The PS Vita sold 3,700. The 2DS actually outsold the new 3DS, which is odd, in my opinion. I'd rather have a new 3DS than a 2DS, that's just me, but I guess the 2DS is cheaper. 1,655 units versus only 392 for the new 3DS. The Xbox One, as always, is under 100, didn't even break 100 units. But it's at 71 units, which is oddly actually above the Wii U and PlayStation 3, which usually outsell it. The Wii U is only at 68 units, and the PlayStation 3 is at 64. So very interesting numbers. The Switch obviously is doing very good this week, selling almost 75,000 units in a single week. That's very good numbers. And I think that's in part because of some of the games that have released this week for the Nintendo Switch. So let's get into that. For the Nintendo Switch, at number 3, Fire Emblem Warriors comes in with 41,491 units, which is really good because I looked up some numbers, and Hyrule Warriors apparently sold around 70,000 units when it came out, but there were more Wii U's out at the time than there are Switches. So apparently it actually did decently for the amount of Switches that are out. Those are good sales. So I know a lot of people have been like divided about how good Fire Emblem Warriors is. They're like, I don't like the character lineup, but some people are like, but the gameplay is really good, and I like the newer games. You know, some people are saying. So it's hard to judge exactly what goes into this, whether it's the lower amount of Switch units or just maybe it's the fact that this one seems to be less well received than Hyrule Warriors was. But anyways, it's down a little bit from Hyrule Warriors, but 41,000 is still very good. Now that's the Switch edition. Splatoon 2 at number 4 with almost 30,000 units continues to perform really well, and it's almost at 1.2 million units lifetime. Number 5 comes in Pokémon Tournament DX. And then, at number 6 is Fire Emblem Warriors for the 3DS, which sold 18,357. Obviously, the 3DS is dying pretty much worldwide. It just hasn't been selling as well as the Switch, or pretty much any of the home consoles, other than the Xbox One, because its sales are terrible at the moment. It's just doing much worse. Of course, only 18,000 Fire Emblem Warriors compared to 41,000 on the Switch. Obviously, the Switch has way more units, so it should have sold more games, but then again, Fire Emblem Warriors is the definitive edition. Hyrule Warriors Legends did not really run that well on the 3DS. It was a very inferior version, so that probably left a bad taste in people's mouths. Plus, if you have the option between the Switch version and the 3DS version, well, the Switch version has much better graphics. It's also on the go, and you can hook that up to your TV, so why not just get that? At number 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 15,000 units, which is also selling really well, and it just passed over 720,000 units worldwide. Really good. Or not worldwide, but lifetime. Now, another interesting thing is FIFA 18 just debuted last week in Japan and worldwide, and it sold 12,616 units in Japan, which is not bad, but it's nowhere near what that sold on the PS4. The PS4 version of FIFA 18 sold 55,919 units, coming in at number 2. So, number 2 versus number 8. But I still don't think it's that bad, considering people aren't used to buying FIFA on the Switch. Even though it's a portable mode, there's some things that are missing from it. There's not nearly as many Switches out as there are PS4s in Japan. And in Japan, people are more used to buying it on the PS4. Once people get more used to the Switch, more used to the fact that there's third-party games, and that the Switch has good versions of those third-party games, I think the sales will go up. But I don't think 12,000 units is bad. It's definitely not a bad number. If compared to some other games that launch on the Switch, it's not selling as well. Of course, Splatoon 2 is always going to outsell pretty much anything that comes out most of the time. That game is just going to continue to sell for like forever. That game will never die. Long live Splatoon 2 in Japan. But I don't think 12,000 is bad. I mean, when you look at 12,000 versus 55,000, that looks bad. But of course, the Switch is new. People really aren't used to buying it. When you go into a store and you've been buying a certain series on one console for years and years and years, and you suddenly see that's on a new console, you're less likely to move over to that new console. I mean, when you look at it, you just go, this is new, this is different. Typically, most people just stick to what they already know. So even getting 12,000 is good, especially since there's not as many PS4s, or not as many Switches as there are PS4s in Japan. Some other important ones we can mention. Breath of the Wild is just barely missed the top 10, coming in at number 11 with 7,650 or 15 units, with almost 600,000 units sold a lifetime in Japan, just coming up under that by about 1.4 thousand units short of that goal. So close. Probably next week, actually, I'm pretty sure for sure next week it will be at over 600,000 units. Monster Hunter Double Cross for the Nintendo Switch version has sold 6,350 and came in 14th, and is really close to 150,000 sales lifetime. Well, the last Nintendo Switch game to be on the chart is number 19, which is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for the Nintendo Switch at about 4,500 units. Lifetime is about almost 40,000 at just 36,000. But yeah, overall the Switch has been doing good. The PS4 dominated in software sales this week, getting first and second. Or I wouldn't say they dominated. I think they just took the first and second place. While, third through 8 was all through Nintendo. Nintendo got a good amount of games, but PlayStation took the top spots. However, as far as hardware goes, Switch absolutely destroyed the PS4, selling 50,000 more units than it. So, good week for Nintendo, and a pretty good week for PlayStation as well, as far as software goes. But I'm glad to see both companies are doing well. Even though I'm mainly a Nintendo fan, I still like to see the PlayStation 4 do well, because I'm a PlayStation fan as well. But Nintendo is the video game love of my life, so I like to see them doing really well. But anyways, guys, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this Monday through Friday. And I'll see you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye!